everyone, and welcome to Surface. Surface is hair, health, art. My name is JK, and this is my model Paige, and we're so excited today that we get to share with you one of our Surface core haircuts and also some of our brand new Surface products, Surface Curls. So to start today, we prepped Paige's hair with Surface Curls shampoo and conditioner. What I wanted to show you guys is show you a little bit of how much wave Paige naturally has in her hair to start, because we're going to also use one of our brand new products, the Surface Smoothing Cream, later. So let's get right into cutting. So when we talk about Surface Core Cutting System, Wayne has done a fantastic job, the creator of Surface, describing that there's really only 5 core haircuts in the world. Now trends are an exaggeration within these 5 core cuts. We still consider face shape, hair type, and body structure. And then we put those together for the perfect combination and a customized look for our guests. So Paige and I already had a consultation, and today we're going to start with doing the edge haircut. The edge haircut is one of our core haircuts. It's one of the first ones that I start with because it is our blunt cut. This would be what I sometimes consider like a basic trim. So to start with Paige's hair, I'm going to bring her up a little bit. I'm going to wet her down. Surface also uses zoning when we talk about our hair cutting. The zoning is a map for our haircuts. A map so that we can follow from A to B. It's very easy to follow. One of the things that I love about the core cutting system is that it allows for recreation. So the next time Paige comes in, if she says to me, you know what, JK, I loved my color, I loved my cut, I always have written down her color formulas, and now I have a cut formula, and I can write that down too. You can always change it, you can always exaggerate it a little bit, but I still have a core cut to go by. So I'm going to section her right behind the ear, bring that forward, and bring this back. I'm going to do that on both sides. I'll turn her so you can see it. So bring all of that forward and out of the way. You can clip it if you'd like to. We're going to bring all of this back. Another wonderful thing that we do with Surface and with our cutting is we do target partings. With our Surface TK2 comb, we have a target pointing tooth. So what this allows us to do is really quickly and easily section out our hair. So if you place your finger where you would like that section to end and meet your TK2 comb to that section, in one swipe you can have an even section. So I'm going to put my finger right to the bottom of her ear because she has a finer hair. I'm going to take my TK2 target pointing tooth and I'm going to slide it right to that finger. When I drop that down, I have a perfectly even section right there. We're going to do that on both sides, and I'm just going to section that away. I'm going to use my Surface clips to section that out. I'm going to place my finger again, I'll show you. Place it right where you want that target part to end, slide your comb over, and slide it down. Quick and easy. Now today we're going to work with a couple different tools. We're going to work right now with our Surface razor. This is our Surface titanium razor. Our Surface titanium razor, you can see right here, has a silicone guard. So the first thing that hits that cuticle is the blade, and then a soft guard so it doesn't hurt the cuticle. This is really important. It's a fantastic razor. If you guys have not tried it, please try it. You can get double the amount of haircuts out of it by just turning that blade over after about 2 or 3 haircuts. Because it's beveled on both sides, you're going to get a clean cut each time. It's an amazing razor. So what I wanted to share with you guys today is Paige has fine hair. But with our edge haircut, we can do a razor cut. We can do a blunt cut with shears, with our Surface swivel shears. But right now, I'm going to take this middle section. I'm going to pull it down. She's actually going to tilt her head straight up. We're not going to tilt our head down because we want this hair to lay right where it lives. So we're going to hold this middle section. We're going to bring it down. I'm going to take my hand out of the razor so I have easy control and flexibility. I'm going to come right down. I'm going to take a little bit of length off there. We've already discussed our desired length. Because she has finer hair, I am going to bring her sides, her red zone, over direct it slightly to the center. And I'm going to again watch my guide and take that off. I'm going to bring this right side, a little bit over directed to the center, and then go ahead, go in and take that off. I'm going to continue to go up the head in that manner. So when we talk about surface zoning, when we talk about haircutting, it's a very easy and fun way to figure out the maps of the head. So right now, back here, when we were working with Paige's hair, we were working with these red zones as well. So these would be our corners. Some people don't even have these. Some people are really weak in their red zones. So we have to focus on where to kind of stop, watch, and think. So this red zone is a little bit sparse. Some people on the front of the ear and some people on the nape of the neck. But we're going to focus on this blue zone and work our way up. The easiest way to find this is taking our comb, almost like a little teeter-totter, and you can find the flat point of the head. Can you see that? So it flattens right out there. So this would be where my black zone starts. So right where it teeters. When you come in this way, same kind of idea. Right where this teeter-totters, you're going to see that flat point, and that's going to be your side ridge on both sides. And right in through here. So everyone has a little bit different of zones, but you can always find the zones with using your comb, finding that flat point. You can also find it by taking 2 points to your comb and moving it in and finding your flat point. So when I talk about zones, when I talk about red zone and blue zone, green zone and black, that's what it's going to be referring to. So I'm going to go in and keep sectioning out Paige's hair, target parting, placing my finger where I want it to live, and bringing it down. Makes for really quick and easy sectioning. When we get to, we're going to take one more section, it's going to be to the top of the ear, and we're going to bring that down. So just like we did before, we're going to find our guide underneath. We're going to bring this section down, and we're going to just take a little bit of length off there. The thing that I love about the Surface Razor is that even though Paige has finer hair, this is still a great tool to use on her. Take that in, bring that red zone over slightly, so that's our weaker zone on our nape of our neck. Over direct it to give it a little bit of strength, and bring this over. So now for our next section, we're going to work in treating the head as a whole. What we're going to do here is instead of going all the way up to this point, we're going to start bringing this into the sides. So right when you get to the top of the ear, we're going to section this out, just like we've been doing. So I'm going to drop this down, bring this up. But to treat the head as a whole, we're actually going to move above the ear, and this section is going to go in the front. So we're going to take our target partings, I'm going to push to that point, take it right out, and drop that down. So that's going to be even across there. To keep the evenness of her hair and the porosity, I'm going to use protein cream. Protein cream is an amazing cutting lotion. The protein cream is equal basswood oil and amaranth protein, so it's a little bit thicker, but it's great for protecting the color, for protecting the hair. Now this section right here is a little tricky. If her hair was even longer, it'd be extra tricky. What we're going to do now is have Paige look to her left. She's going to look to her left so that I'm now not creating an elevation by working on her shoulder. So right now she's turning, she's going to turn just a smidge more to her left, and she's just going to keep her chin up so that that doesn't create more elevation. And now I'm not working off of her shoulder, so I can take that length off too. So I'm just going to take a little bit off. She has a little bit of some angling in the front, so there might not be a lot to take off right there. We're going to continue to go into the front and this back side section. So I'm going to target part this, bringing it over, bringing that up, and then with this front section, treating the head as a whole, bringing that forward. So another little trick that we can do is we would now bring the guide that we have from this section over here. This is our cheater's guide. So we would take this section that we've already cut and we'd bring it across, take that little piece and take it off. So now I have an A to B roadmap to tell me which part I'm going to cut now. So that's my cheater's guide. Now just like we did before, I'm going to have Paige look to her right, making sure her chin is up, and now I'm not working off of her shoulder. Perfect. And I'm going to take this section and work it down. Again, her fringe is a little bit short on the front, so we're not going to have to do so much there. Okay, so now we have going to drop this top section down. She also has some long layers in her hair right now, so we might not actually have that much to take off for the rest of our edge. But we're going to comb all of this down. I'm going to lightly spray her so she stays moist. We're going to section that right behind the ear again. Bring all of that back. Taking this, target parting this right down, section that back. And just like we've been doing, I'm just going to bring that back middle section down. Just going to keep her head straight up just like she has it. And bring that right down. I see my guide, I'm just going to take that off. Bringing that over a little bit, taking that off. Bringing that red zone into the blue zone and taking that off. And what are we going to do again? We're going to have her tilt her head to the left, keeping her head straight. So we're not working with that shoulder, bringing that all down. And again, that fringe she has, we might not have much to take off. We're just going to even that out a bit. To go into something that I feel most of us do in the salon every day, and it's what we do on the majority of our guests, is our Surface Freedom haircut. So this would be our long layers. So when you think about someone that comes in, I mean, majority of the people I feel like have long layers, they have some angles. So with Paige, we are also going to do, we did the edge, we're also going to do the Freedom haircut. And this is also when we start working with our zones. So one of the most important zones, one of the zones that I always use is our black zone. So this would be right in here. I'm going to show you how to find this. We'll find it with two of our combs. We'll also find it with our ridge on the top, just like we showed you in the beginning. One of the important things, if you take anything from today, one of the important things to do with our black zone is to make sure we don't go past our ridge in the back into our blue zone. When that happens, it actually does the opposite effect. We get a ton of volume, a ton of body. If you have a guest that has really long, thick hair and she wants to leave her length, she doesn't want really short layers, we can work with our black zone to give her some body and give her some movement. So I'm going to show you how to find the black zone right now with Paige. We're going to keep her part in front of her ears. I'm going to bring this back. Do that on both sides. Now, I also consider the black zone kind of like a smiley face. So it's going to curve around. But the first thing I'm going to do is find that ridge in the back. So flat part of the head. It's my little teeter-totter right there, flat. Same thing back here, flat. So when I showed you before, what this is doing is we're going to press this in, and you're going to find that spot right there. So that's where my ridge zone is, right here. So you can flatten it with a comb, or you can find two combs and push it together. So I like to find it right there. I'll start by taking that zone down. And then I like to make a little bit of a smiley face out of the hair. And then I go in and double check and make sure that it's right on those side ridge. So I'm going to clip that away. I'm going to tilt Paige's head this way just so you can see that a little bit better. So I found my flat ridge point right here. I'm going to make sure my ridge point's, which is great, right here on this side. Turn your head back up. And then again on this side, that's my flat point. So Paige actually has, and it wasn't colored for this reason, but Paige actually has this perfect smiley face right there. So this is her black zone. And this is our blue zone. This is the part I don't want to go into when we layer, when we start our guide. So for our Freedom haircut, these are our long layers, right? So what we're going to start, I'm going to always cut my black zone with a razor. This gives me a lot of flexibility, a lot of movement. It creates, it makes it so it's not a very blunt line. So you can do a deep shatter, you can do a finer shatter. Paige's finer hair, I'm not going to do a very deep shatter. I'm going to take my razor, hold that right up so you can see that. Bring that up. I'm going to take the spine of my razor and place it right against the head, so not the blade, but the back of the razor. I'm going to turn it up, and I'm just going to take a little bit of length off there. So this is my first zone. This is my first section of my black zone. So I'm working right here. I'm going to go down the head this way, and then I'm going to work down this way on both sides. And that will be my guide for all my layering. It's all going to come from the black zone. So we started that off. Our next section, right below that, we're going to bring it straight up. Bring it up. I see my guide. Put the spine of the razor against the hair, roll it up, and then put the blade against, and I'm just going to take that off. I'm going to take this last section and bring it up. Bring that right up. I see my guide. Spine of the razor, take the blade, and take that right off. So now that I have that center part of my black zone ready, I'm going to move over into my sides. I'm going to take a little bit of my black zone and move it in as a guide. Bring that up. Some people, there's a little edge right there if you can see that. There's like a little bit of an edge. I'm just going to take that off. Roll that right up and take it off. Going right down. Bringing that up. A little bit of an edge there. Take that off. Bring this up. I do this on everybody. I do this sectioning, especially in the black zone. If there's anything that you take away, this is one of the most important parts. Working with your razor, sectioning this out to all your ridge points. Take that little edge off. Take that off. Depending on the thickness of the hair, you could take 3 sections. If it's really thick, you could take a few more. So you could still always see your guide. So I'm going to bring that up. I have just a little bit on that side, so that's it. So with our black zone, this is now all layered. The next section we're going to do is we're going to use this black zone as our guide, and we're going to work into the green zone, which is in the front. So the green zone we're going to find by finding our 2 ridge points again on either side. So we're going to take apart about a 1/2 inch section from our black zone, that will be our guide, and then we're going to move it into our green zone. So to find our ridge points, find this. You can take that and find your ridge points. You can find your little teeter-totter and find it like that. This is about where her ridge point is. And I'm going to find it on both sides. So same with this. Target parting the whole time. Let's make sure that's right too. It's actually a little bit lower than that, so I always double check. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take a 1/2 inch of that black zone, and that will be my guide because we've already started that layering. I'm going to make sure she's good and saturated. For nice even cutting. So I'm right-handed, so I am actually going to take the first section that I take, and I'll section this off so you guys can see it a little bit better. The first section I'm going to take is going to be on the left side of her head because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you would start on the right side of the head. So I'm going to take this section. So we're only working in that green zone. We're taking a portion of our black zone, 1/2 inch from that smiley face, and we're taking that section right there. So now, if you can see that, that's my guide is right here. I'm going to bring that in, connect it to my green zone, which is in the front, and I'm just going to lightly take my razor, and I'm going to work my way up and take that layer off. So you can see it. Take this up. I found my guide, I'm bringing it in, and then I'm just going to take that off and layer that hair. So this is my first section. I'm going to go into my next one, right next to that. My guide again is coming from my black zone. Bring that right up. I now have my guide right here. I'm going to bring it in. take it up, and just take that little bit off. And you're just going to keep going until you get to the ridge point on the right side of her head. If they had really, really thick hair, you would want to take this section into two so that you're only cutting past your first knuckle. So you don't want to ever cut past that. Brings us back to beauty school, but it works really well. So then we're going to take this, continue to work in that section. So right now, it's getting a little bit thicker in this area. So I'm going to take this into two so I can see my guide still really well. There's my guide. Only cutting to that first knuckle, and I'm bringing that up. Now this is my guide for that next section. So when I go into that, I have my guide again, and I can go and take that off. We're doing progressive layers on Paige because she has finer hair. If she wanted a little bit more movement, you can do descending layers. So that would bring in your fingers instead of up and out like this. You could bring them down and curve them around. So there's a lot of flexibilities. Again, surface core hair cutting has a lot of structure, but it has a lot of flexibility within it, which I love. So we're going to bring that first section, see our black zone, so our final section, and bring it up. If that hair was a little bit too much to handle in our first knuckle, then we're going to take that front section. Take that, move it up. So we only worked in this front green zone with our black zone as our guide. So now, with layering the rest of Paige's hair, now we have our black zone and our green zone as our guide, and now we need to do the reds and the blue. So what we're going to do is take a small section, about a ½ inch section from our green zone in the front, and now this is going to be our guide for the sides and the back. So we can take that right out. Pretty easy, right? Take this up. Alrighty, so I'm just to make sure our hair is evenly moisturized again. We're using our protein cream so it lasts a little bit longer, and it's a good cutting lotion with our razor. So our first section, this is now going to be in our red zone. I'm going to bring this up. Now to show you some of the descending layers, I'm going to show you with this zone. This would be our guide because this is what we just cut. So to do some long layers, you can descend them this way as well. You always want to keep your fingers in a fluid motion so you don't get any too much length taken off. I also want to leave her length, so I am just going to continue to run my fingers this way. Always moving, always going in the direction you want it to land. When we start going into the back section where there's a little bit more hair, we're just going to split it just like we did that top zone. So we'll start, we have our guide. So picture this head, this is one section and this is the next section. So we're going to bring this up. Find my guide, move it down. And then I'm going to take that section right here. I want to leave a lot of her weight, so bring that down a little bit. And we're just going to keep going through the hairline like that. Okay, so now Paige's hair has been cut with the surface edge haircut. We also went into the Freedom haircut, which is our long layers. But now I want to talk a little bit about surface curls. So surface curls was launched this March. We actually have a new product coming this September 1st, and that's what I'm going to use on Paige today to smooth her out. So Surface Curls is a certified organic cocoa butter and basu oil. The basu oil, as you guys know, it's a fabulous product. It's the heart of our line. It's our vitamin A, C, and E, and ceramide 3. It gives us color retention and protection. The basu oil is so important because it acts as a driver, and it drives that cocoa butter, which is not a penetrating ingredient, into the hair to give it the most amount of hydration and moisture. The cocoa butter is moisturizing, and it's also strengthening, and it gives the curls elasticity and bounce. So even the most brittle curls can really be hydrated and moisturized with the Surface Curls. So With Paige's hair, she has fine hair. She's very blonde, so she's high lifted. So high lifted hair definitely needs a little bit more hydration. She has natural curls, and she needs that hydration in there as well for when she wears a curly. But because it's fine, I do have to mention that the Surface Curls is not heavy at all. It also has amaranth protein in it to give it that natural volume in the hair. Making sure I saturate it all throughout. Paige is very curly at her temples and around her forehead. So I'm going to definitely put a good amount of the Surface Curls around that section. One of the important parts of the Surface Curls is it has glycoproteins. What glycoproteins do is they help bind the cuticle and the cortex together. This helps so that the moisture that stays in the hair gets locked in. It also helps to maximize smoothing and also give a lot of color protection. It locks your color right in. So I'm going to blow dry Paige's hair out. I have a little bit of protein cream in it right now from our cutting lotion. I smoothed Paige's hair out. We use the Surface Smoothing Cream. Like I said, I'm going to use light puffs with a Surface Shine Spray. If she had thicker hair, you could do thicker pumps. If she has finer hair, we're just going to use like light little airy puffs. Another thing that you can do with the Surface Smoothing Cream is you can take just a small little bit of it. Hand that back to you, Paige. And you can take that, put it nicely in your hands, just a little bit, and we're going to take and just smooth out some of these little tiny fibers around her hair. Oh, looks good. So Paige, she got the works today. And now I can recreate this look. I'll have in her color formula, which we have done. I also have her edge haircut and her freedom haircut. So thank you so much. If you guys have any more questions, you feel free to contact us at www.surfacehair.com. We also have a lot of YouTube videos, which you can go to our YouTube channel, Surface Hair, and we can find us on Facebook. So thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you used some of the things that we learned today. And go look for our Surface Curls September 1st.